Jai Guru.
Jai Guru.
Hello, John. Can you hear me?
Hello. Jai Guru. Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah, I just had a question about how would you describe the difference between non-duality and monotheism?
I'm not really familiar with the concept of monotheism. I would just say that both of those came along with the body.
Yeah.
Non-duality, duality, neither is true because you're not a body. So in coming along with the body, the concept of duality or non-duality, even the concept manifest or unmanifest, came about after your identification with the body form. And then you started believing these things and you started grabbing body knowledge because you think you're a body.
Mm-hmm.
Think if you had no body and you were just two eyes, basically, the universe seeing through two eyes and not having any touch of body, how would this question, how would it arise?
Mm-hmm.
See, if we believe ourselves to be bodies and we start to think about body knowledge, that's why Maharaj all the time, he says, you know, this guru says like this, and this guru says like this, and this one says like this, and which one is true and which one is not true. All of these are just pointing to yourself.
Yeah.
You are that. You can disregard any concept that came along with the body because why? Like, try to figure it out. It'd be like doing a crossword puzzle in your dream. It has no value, except that you're feeding this concept of mind and you're saying, oh, monotheism, let me read and research about this, and how does it compare to non-duality or duality, or how does this happen, or how what did they mean by saying this? No. Remain with your selfless self. All these questions are answered within you. Again, you think the entire universe is using these eyes without a touch of body, just seeing, oh, look at all this stuff. But the seer is formless. The seer is not the body. A bolt of lightning comes down and crashes into the body of the seer, and it doesn't affect the seer the body bursts into flames, but the seer is unaffected.
I was talking to a Buddhist just a couple days ago, and he said that like Buddhism or becoming aware that or whatever enlightenment, whatever, or the path of tantra or whatever is dangerous because it could lead to nihilism, and that kind of crossed my mind today when I was contemplating that. It became apparent to me that nothing has its own meaning, so I could go and start thinking that well, it's that is sort of like a negative answer for so what's the use or whatever, which is, I guess that would be one way of approaching it, but or getting, resulting in ending thinking like that for a while. But if you're actually
Maharaj would say, stop all this thinking, be totally blank.
Mm.
See, you're really entrenched in this idea of Keith having to contemplate and figure out the world around you as if it was something,
Well,
which
my
just means you
mind
haven't
is,
known yourself in a real sense. Because when you know yourself in a real sense, the outside world there's no outside. It's not okay, this is happening, but just like in a play or in your dream. Okay, scenes are appearing and disappearing. Am I worried about this? Am I worried about that? I mean, why feed your mind with all kinds of nonsense concepts?
well, what
And
I do,
Maharaj cuts it. When did you come across Buddhism? When you came across it with the body. Well, you're not body. Throw away Buddhism. Throw away Hinduism. Throw away any and all religions, because all religions are false religions, except the self.
Okay.
And the curious thing is, when you are practicing all these religions, you're really actually only worshiping the self, because that is all there is. And even more true is that the selfless self is worshiping the selfless self through the concept of Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, and all these other sort of things. Cut all that. Just chop down this tree of Keith. You do not exist as Keith. Keith is a layer on your presence, a boil on the butt of selfless self that just has to be treated with mantra and remaining with your own self. And the boil of Keith will easily dissolve because it's not true. Stop giving so much importance to crazy, goofy things. I mean,
I just thought I'd start a conversation. It wasn't really
okay.
affecting me. It wasn't really affecting me, but I just thought, for others or whatever,
Conversation. And I'm not trying to give you a hard time. I'm just saying, because I'm talking to the selfless self. I don't even have the concept of a Keith or the concept of a John. The formlessness is speaking to formlessness. Whether the formlessness within the body is believing itself to be a Keith or a John, it really makes no difference, because formlessness is recognizing formlessness. But anything that came along with the body and all body knowledge, as soon as it pops into mind, throw it away. And you could say in Christianity, they say, be still and know that I am God. Be still is not off wandering and thinking, oh, how this religion or how this is or how that is or anything like that. Be still and know that I am God. Remain with your selfless self. Accept your selfless self. No God, no Brahman, no Paramatman, no master, nothing is there. Oh, but no buts. Remain with your selfless self.
Only the body and mind can react emotionally.
They can't react. There is no reaction.
Well, the
Body is a lump of goo, and mind
So-
is a flow of thoughts.
So where would you say the reactions take place?
Spontaneously in the moment. Again, I think Maharaj says it best about ego, mind, and intellect. A thought comes, oh, I'd like a drink. Intellect says, do this, sends a signal, picks up the drink, puts it back down, just mechanical process.
So you just don't, if there is a reaction, a spontaneous reaction, you just don't identify it with it.
Well, you create the concept of a doer after the action has occurred.
Right. It's the only way you can.
You're taking credit for nothing, for somebody else's work, so to speak.
Mhm. And whatever spontaneously arises, it will just as spontaneously dissipate too.
Yeah. But there's no need to talk about it. The drink is finished, put down, you forget. If I ask you how many sips of water did you have yesterday? Well, I don't know. Because it makes no difference. The water was taken. That's it. Pick it up, put it down. Just as the number of breaths, the digestion. Imagine if you had to sit and contemplate digestion. Oh, I've had a big meal. I'm going to sit here and contemplate my digestion. I need to focus on my digestion so I can digest. And then I start talking about it. I say, oh, I heard that there's a technique that will help you with your digestion more. I'm going to sit. I'm going to breathe in and out, and I'm going to focus on my digestion. Like what? Is the same. When we're sitting here, we're talking about all these body-based concepts. Or breathing. Okay, I'm going to regulate my breath. Now I'm going to fall asleep. Uh-oh. I cannot regulate my breath because I'm unable to regulate my breath. Well, luckily that's all done spontaneously for you, or you would just die. Your body wouldn't be able to sustain no breath. Bye-bye.
So psychologists are mapping out all this mental territory for a self that isn't really here.
Well, Nashik Maharaj, I think, was talking about the psychiatrists will be good when they know the origin of mind.
Yes.
As long as you believe yourself to be a separate individual, then psychiatry, I'm sure, will help you, because you're going to want to improve. You're going to want to say, oh, I did this very bad thing as a child and it's left a scar, or my parents were very mean to me and, I can't get over it. Okay, you're a body, obviously. Because if you remain with your selfless self, even if this concept arises, it will dissolve very quickly. It will be, we'll talk about the black hole. It'll be dissolved.
That's sort of the aim of psychiatry also, is to dissolve these,
Yeah, but what could take hundreds of years of psychiatry, knowing yourself in a real sense in one moment, dissolves quick. No past, no present, no future, no birth, no death. Because this that you believed yourself to be was not true, and this is now known because you know yourself in a real sense, rather than this false sense of self that you babysat all this time, worrying that you were going to perish.
but it does take it takes time to convince yourself of that.
No.
Yeah, for me, it does.
No. Don't say me, because there's no me.
Yeah, I mean,
When you say me, you're speaking as the universe.
Well, yeah, that's
You're
putting me right.
saying for the
putting me right
universe,
there.
it takes time to stop believing myself to be
But
this false thing.
I
And you
guess
don't want to stop believing yourself to be a false thing. You just want to investigate yourself. Everybody can do it. All over the world. Everybody has the
But
ability to
we-
know themselves.
I think
Earnestness.
part of where the problem comes in, because we concede to language and that reality is somehow connected to language, and
Yep,
it's a
prior to words.
sensation.
Prior to the arising of the first word, you are. And they talk about like the 4 stages of the words, where it's like it comes and then it comes in mind, it comes as a thought, and then it rises in the mouth,
Yep.
and then it's spoken. And again, you're prior to words. So any word that can be used can point, but can't describe accurately yourself. Any thought, any idea, anything that comes to mind cannot be about you, because you're prior to mind. The mind has a blank spot, so to speak, when it tries to think about you.
We get caught up in superficial ideas.
Well, every thought that you have has to be about this false self, because the you that you are, there is no thought about that. That's the thought-free state. I remain with myself, the self. Oh, so that I am that. No thoughts. I start to think, well, what if I sat and contemplated this? I'm very close to enlightenment. Well, this is speaking about this false layer, this illusory layer on your spontaneous presence that just has to be removed. But we're curious and a sort of interested in that. And we just have to throw it away. And you don't have to throw it away. You just have to remain with your selfless self.
The only place you can be.
Well, you can never not be. Maharaj uses the example, knock, knock on the door. Who's there? Nobody's there. But somebody had to be there to say nobody's there. The knowledge of existence has come. Oh, I exist. But this I was there prior to the knowledge of existence. Otherwise, there would be no ability to have the knowledge of existence. The one who wakes up in the dream and says, oh, it was just a dream, knows this waking up from dream and knows the dream. Because that one doesn't disappear. There's no sleeping, no waking, no consciousness, unconsciousness, none of these things, because that's the true.
So anything that I think is true for me is actually not true for the self. It's just a...
Well, again, the me doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So the illusory entity wants to have a thought about the illusion and then make some valid point about it. Throw it away. And I'm not trying to be flip. Oh, throw it away, throw it away, throw it away. It's just the absolute truth. When you remain with your selfless self,
let it go.
Then all these things, okay. And yet you can do your job, do your duties, as long as you're holding this body. You can do these things, but know that you're not the doer. There's no deed. There's no such thing as others. And there's no such thing as a separate you.
For some odd reason, though, a feeling of peace or whatever you want to call it, and is present.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, enjoy the peace and the bliss, because you're no longer worried about yourself. You're holding a body, and the body is just like you're dipping the cup into the nectar of immortality and just sipping on it. Selfless self-intoxication. This is fine. After some time, that won't be there either, because like we said, even the presence, like I can sit there and sense the sense of presence, and yet, you know, you're the knower of the sense of presence. So then after some time, presence is no longer like a thing. It's not a...
It's not a feeling, per se.
You can use the body sort of as a tuning fork to sit here, and then attention, because now you're sitting there, oh, okay, let's draw attention to the sense of presence. Just I. This very nice, blissful feeling. I am, sense of existence, whatever you want to call it. But the knowledge is quickly impressed I know this sense of presence. I'm the knower of the sense of presence. I cannot be the presence. The presence is felt because of holding a body form. Whether the presence is there or not, I am. That's where you talk about absolute, para-Brahman, whatever you want to say. Only because, again, we use words.
Are you face to face with the blind spot then? At that point, kind of
Blind spot?
the blind spot that you
Es clientes VM, se llama clientes VM. Y el password es biométrico, pero la V y la M son mayúsculas y todo va pegado. La primera es mayúscula. Así es. Ya todos son viva y ahí.
Nicholas, I'm going to mute you real quick.
Así es. Muy bien. Okay.
Unless you had a question.
Y
I'm just gonna mute you. Okay. Sorry. You were talking blind spot. What is this blind spot?
Well, you mentioned earlier, you said something about this. The self can't talk about self or something to that effect because there isn't.
To your true. Again, it's just a pointer.
Yeah.
I think Nisargadatta Maharaj, or may have been Siddhar Ashram Maharaj, he says if you point to someone, oh, this person, once this person is notified, you no longer need to point. It's here. Yes, this person. So the pointing is, that's this person. So to say I remain with my selfless self, this is the words, but really the words are going to the wordlessness.
So there's no two faces. There's just one face, like looking out. No,
face.
not looking at itself. Well, it is. It's not really looking at itself. It kind
You
of
could just say, if the universe was looking through this body, not identified, not attached to the body, and just seeing. And yet, if someone knocked on the door and came into the house, that would also be the universe. Because the universe is universal.
yeah, right.
You know? Again, best example is dream.
Yes.
In a dream, it appears that everyone is separate. It appears that everyone is moving about. It appears that there's a storyline. Everything seems so real. And you wake up, oh, it was just a dream. But all the conversations that you had seemed like conversations. You identified with a little dream body as yourself and had conversations with other dream bodies.
But you were in the dream, but now you're in the dream present, but now you're present without the dream.
Well, no, formlessly. Forms arose. You identified with one of the forms, created a story
the dream is in you.
The formlessness, because you know, okay, this body is laying down sleeping, and yet this dream, formlessly, you know it's formless. I mean, you didn't construct with a rector set a dream. It's formless. Forms appear. Because you're identified with a body form within the dream, that gives the concept of reality. Because you're identified with a body, therefore you see other bodies. You believe you are speaking, and they're speaking. After you have awoken, you know that all conversations, everyone you met, all the activity, everything, number one, was absolutely formless, even though it appeared to you as form at the time. And number two, were all your own self, because who else could it be? And now you go one step further and you say, aha, this dream state, I can understand this very well. And that is also this waking state. Because this self never sleeps, never wakes.
And no state is other than itself.
All the states are appearing and disappearing. The state of waking, the state of dreaming, the state of deep sleep, all of these are states appearing on your own self, but you are the constant. Otherwise, how would you know? Oh, I woke up in the morning. Waking appears to that you are. Oh, I'm awake. Oh, I'm fading to sleep. Oh, I'm tired. All of these are just states on your spontaneous presence.
Yeah, I made the mistake of saying that I'm in the dream instead of the dream is like in me, or just
Well, you're not in the dream, and the dream is not in you.
yeah. Either way,
You say that this consciousness, this sense of presence, all of everything has appeared on this sense of presence, whether it be waking, dreaming, consciousness, unconsciousness, whatever you want to call it. This has appeared to you. In a dream, you know yourself as one of the dream characters because instantaneously, spontaneously, you identify with the dream character. You don't float around and be like, oh, I'm the dreamer. Let me
you
pick
could
a
say,
body. You understand this? This is very important. If you float around, you think, oh, I'm floating around, I pick a body. No, it's spontaneous identification with
Yes.
one of the dream characters. This is me, and this is from the point of view of the dream. And again, here, after the knowledge that you're somehow separate and apart, you know, they say, oh, I recognize mother, and myself. Therefore, I exist as something separate. As a little baby, you're just kind of mulling around and the presence is there, but there's no sense of separation. There's no sense of something other. You can see this in little tiny children in the car seats and the, you know, little babies. They're just like looking around. They have no concept of I'm separate in something. This is my life. This is happening. Now, yes, body, they react to body. Oh, I'm hungry. Time to cry. Oh, I am peeing on myself. Time to cry. Oh, I need changing. Time to cry. But again, that's body and the formlessness reacting to the body and expressing in the only way it knows how. Ah. Then it comes to, oh, I'm getting fed. Oh, I'm crawling. Oh, I'm walking. Oh, this is mom. This is me. This is so-and-so. This is another person. All this kind of stuff. But in reality, it's the space in the room, knowing yourself for the first time as I am. I exist.
Then it gets all convoluted after that. You are this, you are that.
Well, and then you just, that's why you're going to seek spirituality as a body at first. And I've said many times, sense of presence as a power greater than myself. Okay, this sense of presence that I'm starting to feel is my concept of God. So I worship this sense of presence. After some time, this sense of presence grows very strongly, and that's when Maharaj comes on the scene. And then I start to understand that this sense of presence that I'm sensing and feeling and all this, that is manifesting as Maharaj. Maharaj is not a person. Maharaj is this presence taking form in my experience, because I still believe myself to be a body. And I'm going to this presence in the form of Maharaj, saying thank you, surrendering, so to speak. And Maharaj places his hand on your head, whispers the mantra in your ear, and you know, okay, there is no separation between myself and the master. And now the sense of presence is like, that is your life now. You're moving about and everything is with the sense of presence. You're seeing the world through the sense of presence. So you're no longer identified with the body because your identification has transferred to this sense of presence. After some time of this, you will know, oh, I know this presence. Whether this presence is here or not, I am. And the entire world is projected on the presence. Within the illusion, this body form manifested and said, you are not body, you were not body, you're not going to remain the body. This sense of presence, that's all there is. And now, that's where we talk about the doorway. The I am. Over here is the world. And here is yourself. And that's it. You're free because there was no concept of bondage, because there's no place to hang a hat of a concept of bondage. And that's why, going back to your original questions, all body-based questions can be solved within you. I had just posted a video about the Atma. Yeah, exactly. Yep. And that came about just beautifully because we were just talking about that at the end of the last session. And I was
Yes.
going through some Russian videos and I said, aha, let's take this and put captions and send this out because it's exactly what we were talking about. You're the answer to every question. Just don't pose yourself as a body form and you won't have any questions about the body-based existence that is not true. That's why when people used to come to Nisargadatta Maharaj and ask about their family problems or their this, and Sri Ramakant Maharaj said too, people come and they say, oh, my family is this, my wife, she's not, or my husband is not into spirituality, and my kids, they're not doing well in school and all that. He's like, I am not involved in your family problems. This has nothing to do with spirituality. If you remain with your selfless self, the family problems will naturally go away and dissolve because you won't be paying so much attention to them and believing these illusory problems to be something that is so important. And yet, you'll still take care of your kids, take care of your wife or husband, have a job, do your job, do your duties, but you just know. Just like the actor playing the part. Okay, all these things, all these activities, but I know myself in a real sense.
So while all along these years I've been devoted to sort of spirituality, my concept of going beyond myself. But now that I'm getting a better sense of it, my sense of importance or devotion is not so much to figuring it out, but to just to like I was reading in the Master of Self Realization. I'm getting towards the back of the book. I only read a little bit each night. He's talking about devotion after liberation,
Hmm?
and that's actually that wouldn't have made any sense to me a while back, but now I can see this devotion to because you never were your own self anyway, or what you thought you were, and you can't help but love the presence of what is not. It's just you sort of have to naturally get devotion.
Selfless self-devotion.
Mm.
That's why Maharaj always said, you're not bowing to me, you're bowing to selfless self.
Mm.
I'm not doing any miracles. All these things are pointing to that you are. When Nisargadatta Maharaj says, I'm not making you disciples, I'm making you masters, it's because it's removing the illusion that you're a disciple or a master.
Mm-hmm. Mm. It's not like a master that knows a lot of stuff.
Every time there's a concept, I want to find out, I want to do this, spend that time with you.
Mm.
Just spend that time with
it
you.
gets easier it's finally getting easier to do that because somehow it's becoming naturally recognized.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Once that initial taste, that subtle sense of presence, it can be found in every moment. And eventually you're seeing through this, and then you're seeing that whether this presence is here or not, I am.
Mm.
And you can remain with your selfless self, and there are no questions, no world, no words. You could say nothing, but that's just because it's the absence of everything,
Mhm.
not the concept of nothing, the absence
Mm.
of all things.
Mm.
Formless without the concept of formless.
Mm.
You could say silence without the concept of silence. Peace without the concept of peace.
So today I was thinking about form being like form is without form, but even that's saying too much because formlessness is without formlessness.
Well,
Kind
and this mind flow of thoughts wants to keep active
of,
by your attention, and you're giving it these problems. Ramana Maharshi says you're asking the thief to catch the thief, and the thief is laughing at you.
yeah.
Oh, yes, I will help catch this thief. Just one more investigation, one more thing. And always never going to happen, because if you give anything to mind to contemplate, to figure out, it's just going to continue. There is never an end to questions unless the answer is you. So spend some time with you. Be with you. Know yourself in a real sense. I am not body. I was not body. I'm not going to remain the body. Except my selfless self, there is no God, no Brahman, no Paramatman, no master. Nothing is there. Where all experience ends, there you are. No witness, no witnesser, no experience, no experiencer. Nothing.
Thanks for the feedback.
Yes, yes.